we'll jump over a little bit. Damian Lillard trade rumors. So he's got 2 years, 42.4 mil and 45.6 mil left on his contract. He wants another 2-year, $100 million plus deal, and he doesn't necessarily want out of Portland, but there's obviously the trade rumors going on that, you know, what would be the best avenue to go in? Would it be better to trade him, rebuild, bring in a whole new set, or hold on to him and try to completely build around him? What do you guys think on the Damian Lillard rumors?
Can I go first, AJ?
Yeah, go ahead.
If they were going to trade him, they should have already done it.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, in my viewpoint is try to bring in somebody else. Like, I know the Ben Simmons rumors were heating up, and it got derailed with C.J. McCollum's injury. But my thing is, try something different first with Dame and see if that can, because he doesn't want to leave. He keeps telling you he doesn't want to leave. So you have him. But if you make another trade and it still doesn't work, then you still have that ability. He's still Dame. You can still trade him next year.
Yeah.
Kyler, bad pick. But for me, I don't pay attention to any of these Trailblazers trade rumors because Dame has said it numerous times. I don't want to be traded. Dame had the opportunity to leave. He didn't have to. He didn't have to resign. So to me, if either these trade rumors are just because NBA reporters are so bored, or somebody in the Blazers front office is trying to test the waters and say, hey, see what we could possibly get, see what offers are possibly out there. But I don't like Dame has told us he doesn't want to get traded. He doesn't want to go anywhere. So like Hill was saying, you need to figure out what you can do to put things out there and put a piece like next to Dame where they feel like they can take the next step. Because if you don't, go ahead.
I also don't 100% believe him. And the reason why I don't 100% believe him is because now he's pressuring them so hard for that extension. Now you sign that extension, you're damn near untradeable. And I know we've seen trades happen, and he can still be dealt. Don't get me wrong, but it's like if you sign that extension for another $100 million, like your contract is unmovable. So it's like you're putting the franchise in a rock and a hard place, and it's really not a rock and a hard place. Honestly, it's just you're putting real pressure on them to make a decision way faster than it seems like they want to.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, technically, it would be kind of good for them to have Dame as an untradeable piece because now it will help your franchise. He is the best thing that you had, like ever. Yeah. He's the best player that, you know, to me, that the Portland Trailblazers have ever had. He is, when you think of Portland, that's who you think of. You don't think of nobody else anymore.
What about Bill Walton?
So when you think of the Portland Trailblazers, you don't think about anybody else anymore.
throw it down, big man.
So it's just like, it will make him, you know, an untradeable piece. But if he doesn't want to be traded, that's perfectly fine. Re-up on him, and now you need to build around your true franchise guy. And so you don't need to worry about, you know, making a move for Dame. And if you are looking to blow it up, you're going to basically be like, okay, let's get rid of Dame and blow up and go on a complete rebuild. And if that's what you're doing, they should have been trying to trade him anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you both. I think that he's not going to go anywhere. I don't see him getting traded anytime soon. And just like you said, if he signs that contract too, 50+ mil a year, you know, he is amazing player, my favorite player in the league, top 75 player all time, but nobody's going to be picking up that contract in his age 35, age 36 season. He's locked into Portland if he signs that contract by far, unless, you know, unless he hits new heights that he might not have even hit yet. But I think the best bets, exactly, the trade window for them to trade him has already passed. They've already basically agreed that, you know, they're going to keep him. There's a lot of drama going on with their general managers and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it definitely questionable, like what, you know, who their new general manager will actually think if they want to blow it up or whatever. But I think that their best route is they do have to make a trade. And I think trading Nurkic and CJ McCollum is the best trade. Packaging those guys to possibly get a defender or a defensive-minded player. I know that Ben Simmons trade rumors have been around. I mean, I feel like he could play well with Lillard. I really don't. I've been trying to speculate where Ben Simmons is going to go for a long time now, and I cannot put anything together. So it's very difficult to predict that. But I think that it's difficult because McCollum is such a great player too, but he's so similar to Dame in that backcourt that I feel like the two of them cancel each other out a lot of times.
And to be quite honest, I know you said package CJ and Nurkic, you're not like, you better take CJ and some picks and some swaps or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Like the 76ers, they've ruined Ben Simmons' trade, stock by just holding on to him. And when we all know that they want, like, the issues that have been going on, and so they kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out." And now you want to put him back on the block? No, it's fine. You can take this deal, or you can just have him still being in your facility unruly or whatever the case may be. But here, this is what we got for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that.
So you said you would trade Nurkic and CJ McCullough for who?
That's the question. That's a great question.
I was talking to Paul because when you first said that, in my mind immediately went to Myles Turner since he was on the block.
Right.
Yep.
Is that a significant upgrade? It's an upgrade from Nurkic.
It's an upgrade from Nurkic, but
Nurkic, hey, they foreign, so I'm going to torture some names.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because McCollum is hurt a lot though too, and especially right now you can't trade him because he has the collapsed lung, and which is obviously awful. Hopefully that he comes back sooner rather than later. But the most difficult part is like, who are you going to get for them? Obviously, McCollum and Nurkic would not be enough to get Ben Simmons. You'd have to throw in a ton of draft picks, all that kind of stuff, if you really actually wanted him. And the Sixers, and do you actually want him too? Because the Sixers, they've set their trade market so high for him that it makes it difficult to even imagine. But I do feel like a trade does have to be made in some sense. But it's very interesting to try to figure out, who would be the right piece.
I don't know who, but I believe I believe a third team has to get involved.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I think this just can't be a team, two team deal. I think a third team has to get involved. That way, it's added boost for all parties involved, and all parties feel like they can get as close to equal value as possible. Because when I'm not saying CJ is a superstar, but he's on that line of like, a star. And usually when you start getting up into that, you don't get equal value for what you're trading most of the time. Sometimes most of the time there's a loser. Sometimes most teams feel like they may have, come out on an equal playing field, or they got over. But sometimes it's, we did it because we just needed to go in a different direction.
I actually think that rumored CJ McCullough Ben Simmons trade was a win-win for both parties, in my opinion, though.
That's where I said I think people sitting on their hands too long, that ruined that trade, because now he has that collapsed lung. To me, it's like you got to pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that even for the Sixers, that's an amazing trade. I think you're getting much more value than, obviously, Ben Simmons is sitting the bench right now. He's not even playing. You're getting a ton of value if you can add McCollum to that team.
And you get someone who can create his own shot, get you a bucket when needed, and gives you that much needed shooting that you've been needing for the last 3-4 seasons.
Yeah. And I think McCollum is already pushing star level. And if he goes somewhere where he's the ball dominant player, I think that he reaches an even higher level. Yeah, I think he has the talent to do that.
I view him differently. I believe he is a good number 2, and I believe that is who he is. He's a number 2. If we go somewhere else and we think he's going to be somebody that he's not, we've seen him sometimes play without Dame, and you don't have the success. He's a number 2. Let's just be clear. And he would be one of the perfect fits with the Sixers, because right now,
because him being that number 2 at the 76ers is a perfect fit.
It's a perfect fit.
That's true. It's true. Even being a number 3, if you would slot him behind Harris.
I believe he's better than Harris, but
I'm about to say no. We know who Tobias Cole is. We know who he is, and he's a 3.
But even like you said, even if you say okay, he's a 3, like you said, he's a fit. But I'm hearing that the Sixers weren't very in love with CJ McCollum, so who knows? Like, who knows what they're going to do? Yeah. But AJ, you said something about his Ben Simmons trade value. Does the fact that a lot of players are coming out saying that they want to play with Ben Simmons, do that up his trade value to you? Same question to you, Paul.
I don't necessarily think it ups his trade value, but I do think teams will be interested in possibly shooting their shot. I don't know how willing and what they're willing to give up, but I think when you hear that maybe your top guy is, wouldn't mind playing with that type of person, you might kick the tires on it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, I think the same thing. I think that it's tough because I don't necessarily know. It's very difficult to even predict what kind of trade market there is right now for Ben Simmons and for CJ McCollum. I mean, especially with the way that, with McCollum being hurt, we really have no idea. But it's a good question, and it's tough really to figure out what kind of value you're going to get in a trade like that.
And I think the reason why I like that trade to Portland for Ben Simmons a lot is because one of the biggest issues that stemmed from the 76ers time is there was kind of that power struggle between Joel and Ben Simmons because they were trying to figure out my team. So I don't feel like it meshed. I think if Ben Simmons goes to Portland, he knows that this is Dame's team. He falls in line, and sometimes that's what you need. And he'll have to understand his role. And his role is, yes, I may be, scared as hell to shoot, but that's not what I'm necessarily here for. I'm here to defend, distribute, be a playmaker, and get other people involved. And I think that may be something that he falls in line with, and he'll be comfortable because now he's not trying to be the number one. He doesn't feel like he has the pressure of, this is my team. I have to do it, and I need to have the ball in my hands. It's like, hey, let me get the ball in the Dame's hands. Let me defend, and let me just do my part and do what I can to get us to win.
And if it doesn't work, you can just trade Dame and just build around Ben.
That's true. He's younger.
But hey, CJ's hurt, so who knows when?
Yeah,
who knows? But
got until February.
Exactly. See if he can come back by February and make some noise in January. Maybe we get something like that at the trade deadline.
But some of the trade markets starting to kick up now because, like you said, some of those free agents are now eligible to be traded.
Yeah. So I think it starts the 15th, right?
Yeah, it starts the 15th. So now with that being said, some of these rumors, some of his pack, you can now see the floor of his value, and it may rise because some injuries may occur. You may be like, hey, I may need to pull the trigger and may need to try something, and we'll see.
No, definitely. I'm hyped to see if we actually get a Ben Simmons. So 2 things. First, we got Bryan here. What's up? How's it going?
What's up?
Yeah.
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me, Paul.
Yeah, of course. Glad you can make it. Any thoughts on the Damian Lillard trade?
I just I feel like Portland has to do something. They got to do something. But I just can't see him shipping Dame and wanting to build around Ben Simmons. That to me, that's going backwards. Unfortunately, I do feel like the Portland marriage between Dame and Portland, I feel like, what are we doing at this point? You don't have enough to go for the gusto this year. It's been how many years at this point?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have enough to go for the gusto next year. So it's like, for both your sakes, you got to get out while you both still can. Is Ben Simmons the answer to getting out of this for both of them? I don't know. But those are the rumors. If I'm Portland, I'm staying the hell away from Ben Simmons or anybody, that has shown me those type of characteristics in games. I know he's super talented. I know he's athletic. There's so many upsides to him. But mentally, first and foremost, if you're a professional athlete, you got to be there mentally. If you're not there mentally, none of that other stuff even matters. So it's like, for me as a franchise, I'm staying away from not just Ben Simmons, any player that I feel like, you know, has those same challenges that I feel like he has.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We got a bunch of thoughts on the Damian Lillard situation. Well, first we got Tom on the Cowboys, and we got Hank
because it wasn't the Giants. Lord have mercy.
Wanting him to join the Knicks.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Bing
hey,
bong.
Joe Byron, what's up, baby?
Bing bong.
I'm telling you guys about it, that when I was in the city going to the Knicks game, the amount of bing bongs that I heard like all throughout the city was just ridiculous. It was
I can only imagine.
It's like it's our slogan now. It's amazing, and love to have him on the Knicks. But after what we will have to trade for Lillard, we would have nothing left. That's very true.
You're definitely gonna have to give up the house.
Exactly. And going back to the face of the Blazers,
yeah,
that was the one I was going to mention. That was the one I was going to bring up. But Lillard is
got to be able to dribble with both hands to be the face of the franchise.
Come on, this is that Clyde.
Hey, Clyde the Glide, I know, but hey, he ain't the one.
Yeah, exactly.
He might have been the one before Dame.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He was the one up until 2015 or so, I would say. But another guy on the trade market is Myles Turner. We were alluding to him a little bit before. He's got 1 year, $17.5 million left on his contract. Pacers are looking to rebuild, and he wants out. He's not happy with his role with the team. What do you guys think on a potential Myles Turner trade? Do you think he factors into a Damian Lillard trade? What teams do you think fits his play set the best?
I like him in the Knicks, honestly. But it's coming back to what are you willing to give up? I also would like him in Portland, but I don't, he's just a piece of the Damian Lillard trade if that happens, and the Pacers don't have enough. I just don't feel like they have enough to get Dame out of there.
No, he would be going to play with Dame if he was going.
Well, true. And either way, well, I don't know if Portland has enough without shipping Dame to pull that off. Like who with McCullough off, can you trade him like that?
Trade who?
Can you trade people while they
Nah,
you can't trade.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I don't know. I would like to see Turner and Dame. That would be beautiful, but it's like, how will it work? I honestly think New York has enough pieces y'all aren't using to pull off this trade. So it's like you could pair him in New York. You could have a good core in New York if you go for Myles Turner. But there's other potential landing spots for him. It's like Hill alluded to before I came on, that deadline is coming up to where offers are going to be able to be made, and we're starting to see the floor. So pretty soon we're going to get close to the ceiling after that. So, but I think New York is a good potential landing spot for Myles. If Portland can pull it off, I say go for it. Why not? That could be something to keep Dame there. I know Dame keeps saying that he wants to be there forever, but I just can't see somebody wanting to be there if we doing the same thing every year.
So I'm going to give two teams real quick, and they're kind of on two different spectrums. The first team I'm going to give is the Hornets. I think it's a young team, and they have a lot of potential. And I think like someone like Myles Turner could help take them over the top. And actually, I won't say it'll make them Eastern Conference contenders, but it'll make them play out like a playoff team. And that's just something that you want. You want that, that growth and kind of take it to the next level. So I think the Hornets would be great. And if the Pacers are looking to rebuild, you kind of want to, you don't necessarily want to get players back when you're looking to rebuild. You may want to get expiring contracts, picks, and things along those lines. And I think that's something that the Charlotte Hornets can offer. And another team that I think would be a great destination for Myles Turner is Golden State. Because for a rebuilding team, you can give them James Wiseman, you know, because they're a team that's looking to contend. So you want you want that player that is proven. So you give them that cornerstone of somebody that they can build around, a former, you know, top draft pick and James Wiseman, but you give them that player who is, you know, established in the league. We kind of know who he is and what he has to offer. And I think that just makes Golden State that much more dangerous. You give him someone who is, you know, a rim protector, athletic. He can, you know, just eat off of, you know, some of that, those shots. Almost like, I'm not comparing them to that, but when Dwight Howard was in Orlando and he was just pulling down boards and he had all those 3-point shooters around him, I think that just makes them that much more dangerous and gives them that rim protection that they need. So I think Golden State would actually be a really good landing spot.
I'm thinking about the Mavs. If they can keep Luka, obviously, if they can keep Luka, but they can keep Porzingis, and you can add a Myles Turner to that team, I think that can actually make them way formidable to the contender that they actually think that they are, and they can because they're not, but with him, he would definitely get them over the top
with another legitimate piece. I think that I like those. I like the Mavericks a lot, and I like the Warriors a lot too. That's a team that I wasn't really thinking of because, you know, they've been able to piece together a bunch of first-round picks over the last couple of years. They have James Wiseman, which is a tradable piece, who I think is going to become a good player. And then you had the 2 lottery picks, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, this past year. They can possibly throw one of those guys in too and make it even that much more enticing, so they wouldn't have to trade as much else. I could, you know, especially if the Pacers are rebuilding, why would you not take Wiseman and
you'll take Wiseman if you're rebuilding for sure.
Exactly. Take Wiseman and either Kuminga or Moody, you know, 2 guys who Kuminga has a ton of potential, above the rim kind of player, and Moody has a ton of potential to become a great scorer. So I think that's, you know, those are definitely some good ideas. I like the Knicks, obviously, but it's going to be I think that he would fit the team perfectly because we need a guy that can stretch the floor.
It's doable.
It is. It's
doable.
And our big men with Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel is not working out because they're too similar of the same players.
Mm-hmm.
I think that having a big man that can stretch the floor is going to be the best bet to trying to you know, become a little bit more competitive. They have a lot of things that they have to do. There's no doubt about that. But I think Myles Turner is a piece that could be really big for the Knicks.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to bring it up, you know, because cliche, but the pundits have Boston and LA as players, you know, for Myles Turner. So.
And I was just about to say the Celtics because they could definitely use him. The Lakers don't have the trade assets to get him, so I'm not even going to entertain that. Then Boston can go get him if they want to, but they're trying to save cap space for next year for this imaginary free agent that's going to just come to Boston. You know, I think that they can make a move. If they can make a move and commit, but we'll see.
Like I said before, Boston been playing the fence for all these years. They should have committed and actually either went for it or just, you know, blew it up, build around one person, but they ain't been doing that. So they never really went and got somebody.
Yeah,
they did. Remember? They went and got Gordon Hayward, man. What are you talking about?
And they got Kyrie too.
Facts. They did.
Like I said, they should have got somebody to go take them over the hump.
And Kyrie promised them he was going to be
here. Yeah, he did.
So,
please don't get AJ started, Paul.
Kyrie is a completely different thing that, you know, you could definitely make a whole episode about.
I just can't. We really haven't seen him.
It's amazing, right? Like,
it's amazing, yo. It's amazing.
It's interesting to think about. Like I like it hits you kind of that like we're a third of the way through the season. We haven't even seen Ben Simmons or Kyrie Irving at all.
You know what? I've given them a lot of slack over the years, but this I can applaud anybody that stands up for what they believe in. I'm not saying that I
exactly
would have made his choices, But he's standing on his belief, and I can applaud anybody for doing that. The rest of the stuff that he talks about, I can't vouch for. But standing on his belief, I can support him with that. So, but it's amazing. We haven't seen him.